Last month's decision to open up ground combat positions to women in the military has been one of much debate. With recent polls showing more than 60% of Americans in favor, it seems this hot-button issue has been well received. Susan McDowell, a local Air Force veteran of 24 years, has a different opinion.
I personally don't agree with it because all our hormones, we're all emotionally wired to be mothers and caring and compassionate. And every day they would have ceremonies for the dead that they brought, and they would put them on the aircraft. And it was just traumatic. Traumatic even for the men, but more so for the women.
Sergeant McDowell served as the Public Health Program Manager, where she performed the pre- and post-deployment screenings. She witnessed firsthand the negative effects that war had on soldiers, especially in females.
A doctor based in Houston seems to have found a cure for cancer, but some in the medical community are not so sure. Katie Mendoza has more on the story.
Cancer. Whether it is a loved one or just someone you've met in your lifetime, it seems that almost everyone knows of someone who has battled with this disease. And Dr. Stanislaw Brzezinski has perhaps seen the ugliest side of it. A physician and biochemist, Dr. Brzezinski has spent the last 35 years treating cancer patients with an alternative therapy he discovered in the 1970s. But you probably haven't heard his name before, because he has been sued by the FDA numerous times for unlawful practices over the last 15 years.
I am fighting to give freedom to the doctors and freedom of choice to the patients who require treatment, who otherwise will die because there's no treatment available for them.
What do you think defines a true fan? Is it pregame tailgating with your friends? Wearing your lucky jersey for every home game? How about painting your face? For Marilyn Burgess, the answer is simple.
I think it's me. I stuck with them through thick and thin, and I'm just a dedicated fan.
Her husband Clifford puts it a little bit differently.
She is a Saints nut.
Mm-hmm.
She's been Saints nut since day one. When everybody else was wearing bags on her head, she was still rooting for the Saints.
But whether or not you think she is crazy, she is in fact the ultimate Saints fan. Having collected countless items over the span of 40 years, it's hard to believe that anyone has more of a collection than she does. Have you ever tried to count how many things you have?
No.
No?
I wouldn't even know where to begin.
And if you had to guess, how many Saints-related items would you think that you had?
I would have not a clue.
Although things are quite different now, she says she never really planned on starting this massive collection. It just kind of fell into her lap, and it all started from there. What's the first piece of Saints memorabilia that you ever purchased or received?
Well, I can't remember, purchasing the first one, but I do know that my oldest sister, gave me a painting. Probably in the early 70s. That's what made me start collecting.
How long do you think it took to acquire all this stuff?
Well, since we started, I guess 20 some odd years we've been having the tickets, but people give her pieces and she's got duplicates and triplicates,
Mm-hmm.
and it just happens. People bring it to us.
Yeah.
And we find a place to put it.
Slowly but surely, they began running out of room. Take this photograph, for instance. See those posters on the ceiling? Well, they used to be on the walls of the room, but as the years went by, they moved them to the only available space. And when that was full, you'll never guess what they did next. They added this room to their house. That's right, a home renovation dedicated solely to giving her ever-growing collection just a little more room. And even this room is beginning to fill up fast. But out of all of the items in this room, she made sure to make special space for a very special item. This is her display case, containing invaluable items she collected when she and her daughter Ashley traveled to Miami to watch the Saints play in the Super Bowl in 2010, an experience she claims was unlike any other. What was it like to be at the Super Bowl when the Saints beat the Colts and won the Lombardi Trophy?
Just wonderful. It was an experience that I don't regret a penny I spent.
Mm-hmm.
The time we ran, it was just wonderful.
Camera 2, you're hot. Camera 3, hold that, I'm coming to you. Camera 3, you're hot.
Public access television was introduced in the United States in the late 1960s as a response to the criticisms of commercial television. Citizens wanted to get involved and produce television programming with the content that they desired. When Acadiana Open Channel, now known as AOC Community Media, was founded in 1982, it provided an outlet for Lafayette citizens to exercise their freedom of speech, with programs serving local government, nonprofit organizations, schools, and individuals. Ed Bowie has served as executive director for 15 years. He recalls how chaotic things were in the early years, and how the people of Acadiana were driven away by some of the shows aired.
It was absolutely ridiculous. Everything was open. Sometimes the place didn't even get locked at night. People were coming and going and taking equipment on a handshake and a promise. The Klan was here, another program called Snake Pit. So some shows have really caused us